There is something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? It's your boy Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG Gift and the Gift. Hey, I personally just want to take the time to tell each and every one of you, thank you for giving me your eyes and your ears once again to get a dive deep into some inspiration that I pray will plant like a seed in your mind and assist you in becoming a greater version of yourselves. So I am super excited. You guys are in for a treat for episode 43. We got the guru of engagement in the house here to bring some value to each and every one of you, whether you are a student, teacher, parent, youth advocate, pastor, coming from whatever source, whatever story you're bringing to this episode. Go ahead. You will not be disappointed by this episode as we dive into the theme building bridges. And my guy, Bevin Carpenter, he's going to be shining his light, like I said. And I am super excited to get this giant on for you guys to be able to learn some gems tonight. And before I introduce him, you know that our motto on GNG Podcast is we are all gifted differently to make a difference. And I know there are tons of difference makers that's listening to this episode right now. I want to encourage you with this one thought. No one is ever too small to be a difference maker right now. So wherever you're looking at me from, wherever circumstances or situations you're in right now, you are a difference maker. And let us know that you're here. Comment, share this episode out as you see fit. And man, I want to talk about our mission statement for our new listeners. We provide tips and techniques for young males as they strive to grow in personal development on GNG Podcast. And for me, I take this daily challenge and I challenge everyone that listens to this podcast to go on this journey with me of becoming a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for themselves by adopting unwavering life values and serving others in the area of gifting led by God. So that's the mission that I'm on. I encourage you to take that journey with me. I'm going to go ahead and read off Bevin's short bio and go ahead and get this champion on for you guys. Bevin Carpenter is a speaker, y'all. He's an author, a teacher. He's a behavior specialist, and he is building bridges in the Atlanta area and all across the country by providing tips and techniques for youth, teachers, educators, parents on how they can grow and become stronger versions of themselves. And I want to get this guru of engagement on and let him share a little bit more about himself.
Bevin, you are live king on GNG Podcast. Are you ready to get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Chad. And first and foremost, I must say it's an honor and a blessing, man, just to be on your platform, because you are speaking some real knowledge and truth, and you are spreading the word that needs to be spread. So again, just thank you for allowing me to be a part of your program.
My pleasure, sir. And again, I know what I read off about you, Bev, was short and sweet. Is there anything else you would like the audience to know about yourself?
Yeah, I'll start, but I must start by saying, man, it's almost like your words that you posted. I think it was yesterday. It's pretty much my life motto, and that is be who you needed when you were younger. That's really my life's work, because so many times, and I realized how blessed I was. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, I live in Atlanta, but I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. Grew up with a strong mother and very strong father. A lot of male influence in my lives from uncles, men in the neighborhood. So for me, I thought that was just the norm. You know what I'm saying? Always have a man until you just grew up and you start seeing the differences when you're in high school. In college, you start seeing the differences and how a lot of guys looked up to my father. And so, but definitely when you started working in school systems, in youth development, you really realize how many young men and just young people here that might not even have one male in their life strong male figure in their life. And so for that just took me aback because, like I said, I can count off anywhere between 20 and 30 men that have impacted my life through my years in school. And so when I understand that background that I have, the foundation they laid, then it's time for me to pay it forward. And that's what my work is all about. And so when we talk about building bridges, it's twofold. How do we connect the youth and the adults together to work seamlessly so that because they're our futures for tomorrow? But then also background in business. How do employers build bridges with employees so they can reach their ultimate outcomes and goal? Because at the end of the day, I'm a true believer in Martin Luther King's beloved community. And so to have a beloved community, it must be synergy, there must be connection throughout all the fabrics that weave this beautiful quilt that we are making right now. And so that is really what building bridges is about, just doing workshops, seminars, and just regular chat sessions. Just so we can dispel a lot of the things that make us different and focus on the things that make us connect.
Dude, I love that. And I had the pleasure of reading Building Bridges. This guru actually gave me a copy of it, 10 Steps to Engaging Youth. I still got that rolling deep right here, man. And whoever's listening or if you're viewing this, check out this book. It has a ton of knowledge, and I know he's going to kind of get into a little bit more of that as we move forward in this episode 43. And I love what you say a lot, and you kind of put that as your motto in this book. You know, train an individual and they will not depart from it. And it seems like from what you're talking about, having a strong mom and having those mentors that kind of help keep you on the right path. I know you're an athlete as well, right? You play ball.
Yes, sir.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
My God,
Yes,
Reed
sir.
Bennett, man. Shout out to Reed, Gladiator Sports. He has to connect me with this amazing man of faith that's on this show with me today. So another great guy, Reed. But yeah, man, so I know having that accountability as well and that teamwork kind of helps set you up to be where you are right now. Is there anything else you'd like to add on your backstory that kind of helped influence you to be who you are in 2021 and be able to pour back and engage with the youth the way that you do?
Yeah, one of the things that I did not say in the book, and it's gonna come, I'm dealing with another 2 more books, and it go a little bit deeper in my life. Even though, like I said, I grew up in a middle class family, star athlete in high school. So, you know, there are a lot of perks and privileges that come with it.
Now was you on line? Was you on the O line, D line with Reed?
Now, I was defensive end and tight end in high school.
Okay.
And played outside linebacker in college. Yeah, the weight came up, the extra weight came a lot later. I wish I had it.
No, man. I'm sure you can still get out there and make some things happen. I know you can.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. But one of the key things is that I grew up middle class, tried to do everything right, because that was one of the things my parents instilled in us. Your name travels before you and will travel after you leave this earth. So
Wow.
your
I
name
like that, man.
is something that means the world, so you honor that name. So my brother had to make sure we tried to do, don't get me wrong, we got in mischief, we got in trouble, but through it all, we tried to make sure we honored our name. And so my first real job after college, I was a correction officer in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was falsely charged with a manslaughter. So you talk about from 1 year of being an athlete in college, a lot of people didn't know. To 2 years later, now I'm one of the main biggest headlines in this city as far as murdering someone, which wasn't true, but had to go through that whole ordeal. And so just understand how important it is for someone to be there with you. Also how important it is to make sure you honor your name, because as you know, Chaz, in the school system, a lot of our young men and even young ladies now, once they build a record, it is so hard for them to shake that. And so that's why it's so important. That's why I teach them that we try to keep your name as clean as you possibly can.
Right.
And so with that, beating that system, beating the trial, Still didn't get the just due back because you're talking about it destroyed my family and even a young man who was murdered because nobody else, they didn't charge anybody else. They ain't come back. Even though they saw that when we went through the trial, we were not, me and the other guy was not even there when he was killed.
Now you was on duty when that happened? Or-
Yes, I was on duty when he was, make a long story short, this guy was involved in 4 incidents at the jail. Ours was the first one. He was fine, we were fine, we were gone. He was involved in 3 more incidents, but they left that off and tried to put that on me and the other guy in the first. So, you know, you had to go through all of that because we know once you put on the news, no matter what comes out after that, people still think you're guilty because you're labeled, you know, a murderer.
Right.
And so I feel for guys that go through the system and understand how that affects you and how that destroys a family. But again, like I said, with the whole thing about building bridges and understanding connecting with you is that no matter what you go through, and that's one of the things I tell people today, we all go through hardcore situations in our younger years. And you go through those, as those things go, you can't have a testimony without a test. And so when you start going through these struggles later on in life, all you have to do is step back, take a deep breath, and think about the hardest situation you went through. And when you think about that and you made it through, all you have to do is sit back and have faith. You're gonna make it through this one again. And sometimes, as I talk with a young man that's a brand new teacher, and he was talking about, he just didn't know about, he loved it, but he's just having a little doubt about the education because he knows the next year we're gonna have more students. But he's an ex-football player in college, and he's newly out. He's probably no more than 22, 23 years old. But guess what I told him? He said, it's gonna be hard. I said, yeah, but think about, and you're gonna shake your head, Chad, them camps, when you had 2 and 3 days in camp with them pads on, 100-degree weather, your body's hurting, and every evening you thinking about quitting because your body is in so much pain. But we made it through that. And so you can go through that physical anguish, that mental anguish. And when you having both of those, that tests your spirituality. And so when you're able to go through that, I told him, I said, man, you made it through camp. You can make it through anything. And like a bell went off in his head, and he's like, yeah, you're right. So a lot of times we want to take some of those things I test, we want to block them and hide them and never reveal them. No, we made it through for a reason, and that reason is to help build us and our faith to move forward, even through harder things in the future.
Dude, I'm telling you, you are speaking life into this episode. So much meat there. And dude, you brought up camp, man. Like, it took me back to my freshman year in college. I tell you what, man, I about didn't survive. You talking about them two a day, heat, especially as a freshman going into college. You know, you don't really know what you're getting into. It wasn't nothing like high school. You know, you can kind of skate through high school camp, but yeah, that old college aspects of things. But my head coach, Kent Briggs, man, amazing individual, amazing coach. He said a quote that kind of brings to life where I'm getting at with everything that you went through with those trials and tribulations of that manslaughter charge and overcoming that even when other people was looking down on you and you know, the struggle behind that, the fear, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the frustration, and gosh, man, so big, and just congratulations and thank you for not giving up during that moment and seeing the light on the other end. I just want to say that before I even move forward what I'm going to say. But going back to the Coach Briggs, man, and this helped me get through, and hopefully if someone's listening going through some similar situations where you don't know what your next move is going to be, you feel like giving up, you've just started something new, and it's not working out the way that you planned, or you're a little uncomfortable. Coach Briggs said this. He said, pain is temporary, giving up is forever. And man, he the first time he said it didn't really click, but like the 1,000th time he said it, I was like, man, you know, pain is temporary, getting up is forever. And after, you get through that camp, man, you feel like $1,000,000. You're like, man, I didn't think I was gonna make it. Those 5 o'clock wake ups, man, where your body was just sore, man. Even your earlobes were sore. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and you overcome that. And I mean, we can draw the line and plug in the blank of whether it's a degree or you writing a book or a podcast or overcoming a charge or, whatever the case may be. We all have our own stories and trials that we go through. But man, if we can just hang in there, like you said, and really just learn and grow and be comfortable with being uncomfortable, man, there's beauty on the other side of that. And you are a living testimony of that, Bevin. So again, thank you for what you do, man.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I know you uncovered, there was a lot of meat there, man, of you growing up, having that episode after playing college ball, even having all that experience playing college ball and all the experience you have built up to 2021. Can you just share with the audience some rituals, tips, and techniques that you do on a daily basis that help keep you grounded, man, and help keep you striving towards your greatest version of yourself? Anything?
Of course. A lot of people that know me say I'm a little crazy, but I'm gonna take that because I met about 3 or 4. When I talk about top-notch businessmen, I'm talking about sit on New York Stock Exchange, those type of men that a lot of people would aspire to be, and there are lines to be around them. I've had the chance to sit and talk with them, and I found out they're crazy too. And what I mean by crazy is I wake up between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every day, especially Monday through Friday. And the reason being, I am a morning person, but the reason being, I made a conscious effort to realize I'm the most important thing in my life, meaning for me to go out and give, I have to be fully charged and recharged and centered in order to go out and do the things I need to do in this world.
Mr.
And
Bevin,
so,
can you say that one more time? Somebody didn't catch that one, man. Somebody listening, they got to hear that part. That's so gold. That's gold what you're talking about.
I said I'm the most important thing or person to me because I have to make sure I am charged, recharged, so I can go out and do what is needed in the world. And what I mean by that is the first 2 hours of every day, that's why I wake up between 3:30 and 4. The first 2 hours of every day is dedicated toward me. Whether I go out and walk, exercise, sit, meditate, deep breathing, if I'm in a class and I can do some intellectual work, some type of academic work, or just read articles. I wake up, even if I'm dog tired, I still get up and then I make a conscious effort. I'm tired today. I am going to rest for these 2 hours and figure out how I'm going to rest. So it's my first 2 hours are dedicated toward me. That way I can do what I need to do in the world. So those are some of the basic rituals. Then at the end of the day, I always do some type of meditation, deep breathing, and reflection of the day because I don't want to make the same mistakes tomorrow that I did today.
Dude, that is so key, and I resonate with a lot what you're saying is how you start your morning is so important, and how you're filling your tank, man. So you gotta fill your tank to the capacity for you to go out and serve others. Being a part of the John Maxwell team, I love what John says to the JMTers. He said you have to value self to value others so that you can add value to others. And I feel like that's kind of what you was explaining, meaning, man, if I value myself and I'm developing myself, cultivating Chaz, I'm going to be able to go out and be the light to the world that God's calling me to be, and be more engaging than what God is calling me to be. Because a lot of times, man, we can go out and serve, and we can run out on empty just thinking about a restaurant, right? I mean, if you constantly selling food, I mean, eventually that refrigerator is going to be empty unless you start to reproduce and go out and buy some stuff to be able to prepare, and vice versa. If you're constantly buying stuff and not necessarily serving it out, I mean, stuff's going to go spoiled and it's going to go unused. So just kind of using that analogy as the body and just us as human beings, we got to constantly take things in. And so we can be able to effectively give things back out. So I really agree with that, and I know somebody that's listening right now is taking that tip or technique in consideration and striving to add it to their daily plan because. I mean, even if you don't got 2 hours, you know, that 10 minutes, 15
Right.
minutes, I feel like for me, man, that first 10 minutes, I really want to conquer that time because I want to be so in charge of that time. So, you know, take it one day at a time. And like Will Smith said, you know, sometimes we can look at the huge wall, but at the end of the day, just concentrate on that one brick, right? And lay that brick down as perfectly as you can. And just
Yes.
keep laying them down each and every day. And eventually you're going to have a wall. But again, I think as far as building that wall, it does start with your daily routines. And I like how you mentioned at the end of the day how you kind of analyze and examine how your day went so you can go into the next day fully prepared. So that's really good stuff.
But you know, Chaz, one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, and that's just watching people and watching things and just conversations with people. When I talk about doing for self and loving self more than anything else, making sure you are fully charged, a lot of mistakes that I've made and others I watch making through conversations is that we so busy grinding and going, even when we're almost depleted. Sometimes we are depleted and we still going, and but we wonder why things are not going the way they supposed to go. Because when you are depleted and when you're on empty, your presentation isn't right.
Mm.
And the food can be, I tell anybody, you can go into your favorite restaurant, order your favorite meal, but if they bring it out on a garbage pan lid, you don't want it. It's still the same food cooked by the same person, but it's that presentation that threw it off. And a lot of times when we deplete it, our presentation comes off. We might snap, we might not be smiling. People see that and think it's something to them, which you just depleted. That's why I said, make sure you're fully charged. That way, as you say, your light shines bright.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you're just tuning in to us here on Facebook, you know, we are talking with my guy, Bevin Carpenter. He is a behavior specialist, and we dive into the theme of building bridges, and he is definitely shining his light, giving massive value. So if you are looking to replay, definitely go back and listen to the beginning of this bad boy because you will not be disappointed. And it kind of moves back into the theme, and I know you covered a lot based on the purpose of building bridges. I really like how you said from, you know, the youth and adults, even employers and employees, building that bridge, finding that common ground so that we can be successful and give value to those that we're called to serve. But out of the book, for a young male right now, one of those 10 steps, man, can you shine one of them for the audience, give them a little sneak peek of one that you feel that can help them become their greatest version of themselves and take that daily challenge of overcoming. During all of this is going on in 2021, man, we can talk about a whole lot of things and run off on a rabbit chase on different topics. But what comes to mind when you hear that, man?
Ooh, well, you know, the first one is one of my favorites, but I'm gonna skip the first one and go strictly into number two. And number two, to me, is one of the biggest ones, and it's all about just listening.
Mm.
Are we listening? I think we're to the point where we're programmed so, and we going so fast. We do a lot of hearing, but we don't do a lot of listening.
Wow.
And what I mean by that is, if you're thinking while the other person is talking on how you gonna respond,
Wow.
you're not fully listening to what they're saying.
Mm.
So to fully listen, we have to totally, in this practice, we have to totally be selfless about who we are, what we are, my mind, slow my mind down to where I can fully concentrate on every word, even the punctuation they have at the end of their statement, and even ask for some clarifying questions or ask them to clarify before you give a statement or feedback or continue the discussion. And if you think about it, that's what's one of the biggest turnoff for students with us, It was one of our biggest turnoffs with our parents. We done got so wrapped up in the computer age where everybody's talking at each other and no one's talking with. And even though young people are young, they want their voices heard just like we do.
That's so true, man. That's so
So
true.
so that's one of the main ones for me is listen.
Dude. And I like how you went into it and said, and man, I know I'm guilty of it too. That's something I'm taking the daily challenge on, of overcoming and being more self-aware of is when somebody else talking, not thinking about what I'm going to say to respond to them, because I think built in, even in a male's mind, I would say is, man, we constantly, even after talking with many guys, man, we're fixers, right? We want to fix the situation. And when somebody's telling you an issue, especially a young kid, you're thinking in your mind, what story can I tell them that's going to relate to them? Or what can I say to help them, get that grade up, or to want to attend that school or that sport, or to help encourage them about their home situation. And all these things are going through your mind when they're actually telling you the story or the verbiage, right? We can draw a line and plug in the blank. But I like what you said, man. Just sitting there and being with them and just being like 100% focused on what they're saying. And I like how you said even repeating back what they said to them, because I feel like that's gold too, man. And even for me, I can take that daily challenge on doing better at that. So that's really good stuff, man. Number two, I told you, man, he's dropping gems, man. I think that is really key of really building healthy relationships there, man.
Yes.
Yes,
Did
that
it?
was really good one. It really was. It really was. And gosh, you gave so much value, and I got another question for you, brother. Obviously, this show, Gifting a Gift, we are all gifted differently to make a difference. I truly believe there's a gift inside of each and every individual that's breathing on this planet. Physically, we're a gift, and I like to call that gift inside of each and every one of us, that seed of greatness, that full potential that's dictated by our mindset, but it's there, right? And each and every person's seed grows from being watered, right? And being in that sunlight of greatness from others, and for me, God. But I want you to water the listener seed right now. They're having some issues with bringing their gifts to life, and they are a gift and a gift. And what's some last encouragement that you can give to the listener right now to help encourage them to keep striving into tomorrow and making their rest of their life the best of their life? What comes to mind on watering that seed? I bet.
Wow, pow, that's strong, brother. That's real strong. For me to share with the listeners, I would just say trust. Trust in the higher power that you believe in. Trust in the arc of the universe, knowing it's on the right side of justice. You have to trust in something bigger than you. And when you trust in something bigger than you, allow that entity to row your boat. So many times we're trying to go against currents because we're trying to prove stuff to people and individuals. And sometimes we're trying to prove ourselves to individuals that our sole purpose is to be who we are, and that would help guide that individual to where they're supposed to go. But they're lost because they're looking at us for some type of guidance. And we're trying to prove something to them. Know who you are. As I say, accept your own and be yourself. And go with the current. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Because the creator, God dictates the waters. So go with the flow.
Go with the flow. That's from the guru of engagement himself, my God. Mr. Carpenter's dropping those jewels. He dropped the mic just there. Go with the flow, because, man, I like that. If we go with the flow and understand that failure is not the enemy, even if you do run off course, or things don't work out the way that's planned, like we kind of mentioned earlier, hey, there are so much lessons learned when things don't go the way that you plan. And it took me a while to truly understand that, and whoever's listening, and I believe Brother Bevin's on the same page with me when I say that, man. And this is actually Chip Baker's deal right here, man. A good friend of mine, the Success Chronicles, he says this a lot. In every blessing, there is a lesson. And that can be good or bad, right? There's bad blessings out there, right? And then a lot of those things, man, are there to help create who you are supposed to be, because your story can be something inspirational, powerful for someone else that's out there, and they need to hear your story. Because there will be certain people that I'm not going to be able to impact, that Bevin's going to be able to impact, and vice versa. So yes, go with the flow. Understand, you are great, you are worthy, and that regardless of the circumstances, learn from those mistakes and keep growing and striving and go with the flow, like Brother Bevin said. That's really good stuff, man. It's been an amazing episode 43. I know there's somebody that's still logged in here listening to you right now. Go ahead and drop your tip of technique that you're going to implement in off of episode 43. But again, Brother Bevin, thank you so much for your time, your effort, what you're doing in the world. I'm so excited to see what else is planned for you to accomplish, and what God used you to influence and empower for yourself, your family, your workplace, your school, your community, man. So I'm super excited. I'm just glad that you're in my presence, man.
Thank you, bro.
From the bottom of my heart, man. And again, I know there's somebody that's listening right now, building bridges. They love what they're hearing. Can you share your contact information, some of the things that you got that you're working on as we progress through 2021? How can they reach you?
Okay. My website is bb2, the number 2, connect, bb2connect at gmail.com. And that is my, I'm sorry, bb2connect.com is my website. And my email information is in there. So you can go there, you can reach out to me, and I would definitely get back into contact with you. Also, I'm a behavior specialist at Martin Luther King Middle School, proud Atlanta Public School. It was the first school named after Dr. Martin Luther King. So, I hold that in high esteem, because I say beloved community is the framework of the future. And so, like I said, just thank you, Chaz, for just allowing me to be here. Thank Reed. I got to shout out my boy Reed Bennett for just making that connection to me and you, and with Gladiator Sports. So, man, it was just an honor anytime, brother. Anything I can do to help, that's what we here. We're servant leaders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm going to go ahead and lead us out, my guy. I told each and every one of you that episode 43 was going to be a treat. Definitely, once again, I will repeat, let us know what type of techniques you took from this. There was so many value things that were shared on this conversation with Brother Bevin Carpenter. I want you guys to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. Do 2 things for me. Keep that crown on your heart. And please remember this. We are God's echo. I love each and every one of you. Peace.
Thank you for listening to GNG Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit ChazJacksonSpeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.